friendship that'll never ever end.
Run!
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Reaction Beanie Yo 814. In that neighborhood, my brothers and sisters. The weekend is upon us once again, Bean Team. So y'all know that means that it is time for another reaction, suggestion, Friday. Another RSF, y'all. And this week, we don't even have to go back to the whole YouTube random comment picker thingamajiggy, because only one member of the Bean Team All-Stars left a comment suggesting a video for us to react to. And y'all can see that comment right now. And that comment is coming from HBFPW. Shout out to HBFPW. Appreciate you leaving the comment. Appreciate you being a member of the Bean Team All-Stars. And as y'all can see, Bean Team, they want us to go back to Mike from that chapter. Hey, it is always a delight when we get to go back to Mike. And the title of the video is The Case of Drew Peterson. Well, let's see about good old Drew, or should I say bad old Drew. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be bad old Drew, evil ass Drew. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure that's where we going in this story, Bean Team, but I do not know anything about this story, but I'm ready to get into it. But before we get into it, y'all know what y'all got to do. Get whatever you may need. Get what you need, please. We're back to that chapter. Once again, my friends, y'all got what y'all need, y'all ready to go. Then let's go.
Hey you and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this old/new video, we're gonna take a trip to the wonderful town of Bolingbrook, Illinois. Makes a change from Florida, Texas, and Canada, I suppose. Now, the name Peterson, it's kind of like one of those names that just keeps coming up. And here we have another, a boy named Drew. Now, he's probably, like, out of all the characters we've talked about, one of the most interesting. Kind of funny, charismatic, and not great. Drew loved being married 4 times, you know, he's quite a guy, quite a character. But he loved media attention even more. Over the decades, Sarge, as he'd be known in his later years, probably by just me, well, he'd become a bit of a household name. This one's really about power struggles, in a way. There's a lot in it. It's set over many years. So let's start telling it over many minutes. At least 30.
Let's give it a go. Get whatever you may need. And the one thing Mike said real quick, y'all, that just reminded me of Mr. Ballin' Sunday when he was like, Drew Peterson, he likes media attention. It reminded me of the lady, can't even remember her name, you know, the pop star who loved freaking attention and media and social and all that followers. She loved the fame so much to the point where she was willing to freaking die over it. Long story short, story long. If you ain't watched that video yet, after you watch this one with me, go back and check out my reaction to Mr. Ballin' last Sunday. Let's go. Let's give it a go.
Our boy Drew was born in 1954 in Bolingbrook, Illinois. He was the eldest child with 2 other siblings. His father was a Marine and their family was run pretty strict. At the ripe old age of 17, Drew got himself a pilot's license, which, back then, as it is now, would be quite expensive. But his family, spared no expense for this guy. Maybe Drew was gonna go fly in the military. He didn't, but he did go to the military. Before he got in, he started dating his high school sweetheart, Carol Brown. They were serious, got married when Carol was 17 years old. So, Drew joined the army, was an MP in 1974, but he was honorably discharged in 1976. After which, the couple moved back to Bolingbrook, Illinois, where Drew became a cop on the mean streets. He was ready for anything. Hey, looky see. Come on. If that tash says anything, it says don't mess with me or I'll have your ass. Drew and Carol would have not one but two kids together. In 1978, Drew became a frickin' narc man, and he became an undercover cop. He even looked quite the part. Doesn't get much more stereotypical than that. In 1980, Carol, she filed for divorce. Why, you ask? He had a great mustache, come on. I hear you're barking, big dog. Well, it turned out that Drew, liked to stick his pew in other ladies' queues. See, he'd be off, bragging to all the other lads about how easy it was to get chicks when you're a cop in the 70s. Carol just didn't understand, which from Drew's perspective would have been her problem, really. Carol, she got custody of the children, Drew got visitation rights, but that would be the end of that marriage. One down, three to go.
I was just about to say that same thing. Yeah, that marriage. But guess what? He got married 3 more freaking times. Let's see why he broke up with them. I think the running thing gonna be is that he's a cheater at heart. You know what I'm saying? It's just certain people out here who can just never be faithful. They just can't. They gonna always be a cheater. Now, I don't know if once a cheater, always a cheater is the right thing to say, if that saying is 100% correct, but there's a lot of people out here that they started cheating as a freaking teenager on their first love, they high school sweetheart, and now they freaking 50 years old doing the same damn thing. I'm just saying.
In 1981, Drew met Kyle Peary. Drew, at 27, was 7 years older. He charmed the pants off her, literally, and everything seemed to be just going great. He had a good job, and even though Kyle Peary was underage, he could get her into bars. Not a problem. Wait. What? A police officer breaking the rules they're supposed to enforce? Well, this is the first time I'm hearing about something like this. However, unsurprisingly, as I'm making this video, Drew had a dark side. He would want to know Kyle's every move. He would follow her. He would drive by her place so he knew where she was and to check she wasn't lying. He would interrogate her about where she went when she wasn't with him. Hey, leave it at the office, pal. Kyle eventually wanted to call off the relationship. Drew didn't take that very well, and things got a little bit physical. This would end with Kyle calling the police, though, as Drew was a police officer, who would show up? But the lads from the station, how are you, Drew? What's the crack? So as you can imagine, not really much happened. So Drew and Kyle were no longer a thing. I mean, in Kyle's mind at least. See, Kyle Peary would have to go to court. Because what Drew was doing, now that she had left him, was him and the boys would write parking tickets for her. But they wouldn't leave them on her car. So she had parking tickets just building up and building up that she had no idea about, until eventually a warrant was issued for her arrest.
Wow.
Guess who the officer who arrested her was? She brought it to court. It would be dropped. But Drew wanted to make sure that everybody else knew who was wearing the badge in this town. And Drew found a new plaything, 23-year-old Vicky Connolly.
And I was wrong, y'all, in what I was speculating, like thinking like every relationship he was just a freaking cheater, even though he probably was cheating on that lady too. But that wasn't even the reason that she broke up with him. She broke up with him because he was a controlling, stalking ass, you know what? You know what I'm saying, man? And then it's just crazy how he using his power, how he swinging his badge, so to speak out here, not sweep, so to speak out here. He's swinging it, Bean Team, using his power and abusing his power. It's only gonna get worse. It's only gonna get worse.
They met in a bar. Drew was interested in her right away. She was a 10. But she was still married in the eyes of the law when Drew met her. But she was in the process of getting a divorce. As things were a bit messy for her at the time, she told Drew, "I'll take a rain check. Not really a good time for me to get into something new." Drew, as you can imagine, did not take no for an answer and hounded her, until she eventually relented. As soon as her divorce was finalized, Drew and Vicky married. But the honeymoon stage...
As soon as she got divorced, she got remarried. Oh my God, that's a terrible decision to make, in my opinion.
Didn't last long. See, Drew, well, he's a real piece of shit. We knew that already. He got into trouble in the narc department. He was fired from the unit after being accused of taking bribes and also dealing the drugs he was supposed to be seizing.
Damn.
He got busted down to patrol PC Plod. The demotion came with a demoted paycheck, and Vicky and Drew would have to move out of their house to a smaller home. However, before the shit hit the fan...
Hold on, man. We just can't gloss over the fact that man got caught doing all that and he still worked for y'all. Like, why is this man not fired, let alone not in jail? You know what I'm saying, BT? Like, dude, y'all just lowered his ranking, like, but he still worked for y'all after doing all that. Now I see why he was swinging his badge around. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew he wasn't going to be held 100% accountable for his actions. It's getting worse, like I said.
And the couple bought a bar together called Sud's Bar, which they still held on to. Drew did not take the demotion well. He started to become even more controlling, aggressive, verbally and physically abusive. Even one time pulling a gun on Vicky, telling her he could kill her and make it look like an accident. And Drew, following his Peterson, found a new woman, Kathleen Savio. He would tell Kathleen all about Vicky. That they were married, though he was able to tell the story from a certain point of view. He told Kathleen that Vicky was a junkie, and he wanted to file for divorce as he couldn't take it anymore. So Drew and Kathleen, they began seeing each other, and when Vicky found out, she began to file for divorce. Although, as we've seen with Kyle Peary, well...
We're not done yet.
One night, when Vicky was heading home from the bar, Suds, that she co-owned with Drew, she got into an accident. Someone cut the brakes on her car and she flipped multiple times. Very nearly died. She was in a coma for over a week and needed reconstructive surgery. When she woke up, well, now Drew owned the bar by himself and he had a divorce. So now, Kathleen. She grew up in not great circumstances. Her stepdad was a deadbeat, her biological dad didn't pay child support, and her siblings would leave home at an early age. She would go on to become an accountant and wanted all the things she didn't have when she was growing up. A house, family, money, security. And she thought she found them when she met Drew Peterson on a blind date. They got married in 1992. And to absolutely no one's surprise, well, maybe Kathleen's, things went down the toilet pretty quickly. 1 year after they married, Kathleen was even hospitalized. Drew beat her so bad.
Damn.
Though it was one of those I fell down the stairs type deals. Though it would be almost 10 years into their marriage that things would finally come to a head.
It's crazy that she stayed with him for freaking 10 years. And let's go back because we can't gloss over that either. I think her name was Victoria, the third wife. The fact that her brakes, somebody cut her brakes, you know what I'm saying? Somebody did it. We don't know who did it, but somebody did it. And that lady almost freaking died, and we know who did it. It's just the fact that, dude, that just show you how freaking crazy he is. That's a terrible way to freaking want to kill somebody by cutting their freaking brakes off in the freaking car. You know what I'm saying? Just for them to have an accident like that. And then not only are you trying to kill them, but you potentially gonna cause them to get into an accident with another car or multiple cars, killing multiple people. Like, this dude is evil as hell, Bean Team. And to think that he was freaking in the military and a freaking police officer, a sheriff, whatever. Tomato. This is crazy.
In October 2001, Kathleen received an anonymous letter. In the letter, she was told that Drew was having an affair with a 17-year-old, Stacy. Drew was 47 years old at the time. This time, it was Drew who filed for divorce. The divorce was crazy. Police were involved many times due to violence coming from the home. Once again, as soon as the divorce was finalized, Drew got married. Stacy was only 19 at the time, and soon she was pregnant.
Oh!
And Drew and Stacy would live just 2 blocks away from Kathleen. And, as we've seen many times before, he continued to intimidate and harass Kathleen. They had 2 kids together, so they saw each other regularly, and Drew would still be physically abusive toward her, though Kathleen would be the one to get in trouble. In 2002, Kathleen asked for an emergency order of protection. She was afraid for her life, even telling her sister, "He's gonna kill me, and he'll make it look like an accident." She was hopeless. Drew was the police. Kathleen reported to police that one night, Drew broke into her home with a knife. Kathleen basically just said to him, "Do it. Just get it over with." Drew, he pulled the knife, put it to her head, but said he couldn't do it, and he left. She reported that to the police, right? But Drew, he had his own version of events, which were quite different. He said that, she invited him over. He opened the door, and who was standing there? Kathleen, maybe taking off her clothes, shaking her boobs, asking him if he missed anything. So, nothing happened. Kathleen then wrote to the state attorney. He knows how to manipulate the system, and his next step is to take my children away or kill me instead. I'm asking for your help now, before it's too late. Her letter was ignored, and Kathleen was ignored.
And another thing about this story, it's just showing you how corrupt the police can be. And it's so terrible for the police to be corrupt because they the only call for help that you can make out here. You know what I'm saying? She can't call the police because Drew the fucking police. And Drew the one doing all this crazy ish to her. And it's almost like shows you, and I'm not talking about all police or all police departments or whatever, but there are police departments like that out there to this day, Bean Team, that just shows you it's the mentality of one for all for one and one for all. I think that's the right thing I'm supposed to be saying. Y'all get what I'm saying, man. Let's go.
In early 2004, a property settlement was scheduled between Kathleen and Drew. Kathleen didn't make it that long. In 2004, she was found dead, face down in an empty bathtub, with a gash on her scalp and her hair wet. Now, the way Kathleen was found is interesting. So the day before she was found, it was a Sunday, so the weekend, Drew had the kids. That evening, Drew was going to drop the kids back to Kathleen's house for the week. However, when he rocked up, he got no answer knocking on the door. He then took the children back to his house, thinking, she was out and about, he'd go back later on that day to drop off the kids. Popped back again, knocked away on the door again, got no answer again, took the kids back for another night. pop by again, you know, the next morning. Kathleen, she's God knows where, you know. In a bathtub, maybe? He tried calling her the next morning, but got no answer. So, on the 1st of March 2004, he decided to call Kathleen's neighbours in case they heard from her. They said they hadn't seen her in 2 days, and he asked them to accompany him going inside Kathleen's home to check if everything was okay. It was the neighbours who found Kathleen face down in an empty bathtub. She had bruises on the front of her body, a gash on her scalp, a scrape on her back, but the coroner stated she had no defensive wounds. There was also no sign of forced entry, and the coroner said, you know, due to she more likely slipped, banged her head, and drowned in the bathtub. An empty bathtub. So Kathleen's death was ruled an accident. The next day, Drew was called in for an interview, but as you can imagine, it was not really, you know, too official. It was more like a talk between buddies, you know, sharing a few beers, whatever. The investigating officer was a good friend of Drew's. Drew explained he spent his free time during the weekend at home in the company of his children and Stacy. Police called Stacy in for an interview as well, but funny thing is, Drew told his buddies, you know, he'll sit in on Stacy's interview. Stacy was heavily pregnant at the time, and he wanted to make sure she was okay. So sweet. Stacy gave Drew an alibi for the night of Kathleen's death. She stated that they were together the entire night. I'm sure he was staring at her with those Manson lamps the entire time. 2 weeks after the accident, Drew provided a handwritten will of Kathleen and himself, stating, you know, it stated that, you know, if anything happened to one of them, the other one gets all their shit. Funny thing is, previously, you know, during the divorce process, it was stated that no such will existed. Lucky for Drew, right? I know. Drew got full custody of the kids, and Stacy legally adopted them as well. And Drew and Stacy's marriage was soon in the shitter itself. He constantly needed to know where she was. He was verbally abusive. The usual.
The freaking usual, man. And I ain't gonna lie, man. That Stacy and Drew relationship is the craziest one to me, but just because of the age difference. Like, I'm sorry, Bean Team. I know they both adults, but just seeing the age difference, like, y'all look so... I don't even know the word, man, but it just don't sit right with me that y'all a couple. Imagine y'all had kids. Like, she was, what, 19 and he was 40 freaking 7? Like, that part right there, I'm stuck on, as y'all can see, man. But dude, Drew is a freaking murderer now. I want to the 19-year-old, or however, the newest wife. I wonder did she know that he murdered her or not. I don't know. Let's go.
And in 2007, after contacting a divorce attorney, she disappeared.
Oh!
On the morning of the 28th of October 2007, Stacy decided to head over to her sister's place to help her with some home renovation, some painting, but she never arrived. Why? Well, you know, allegedly, 23-year-old Stacy, she took off with another fella. I know, right? She had taken her passport, a bikini, and a few $1,000s in cash. It was her sister who filed the missing persons report. Those who knew her said she would never leave her children behind.
Boy, I didn't see this one coming at all. I should have seen it coming, dealing with Drew Peterson fucking ass. You know what I'm saying? I should have seen it coming, but no, that just kind of shocked me right there. Like, now he done got to the point where now he just killing all his wives. He let the other ones live, the first 3, I think, but the last 2 he freaking kill it. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if he go back and kill his first one. Like, you know what? All my wives I've been with, I gotta take them out. This man is crazy.
However, Drew said, yeah, the day she disappeared, she called me. She called me, and she told me what she was doing. She said she was running off with another guy. She left her car at the airport, and she told me where her car was. I went off, picked up her car, and drove it back home, you know, before she was reported missing. But she's fine. Really, she's out there, living the high life, you know? So for Drew, it's just, tough shit, you know?
This is Chicago's very own WGN News at Noon.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tom Negavan.
And I'm Micah Mater. We begin our coverage this noon in Bolingbrook, where WGN's Robert Jordan has been following the Peterson case. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Micah. Well, police here in Bolingbrook are assisting the Illinois State Police in trying to locate the missing woman. 23-year-old Stacey Ann Peterson is the wife of a patrol sergeant here with the Bolingbrook Police Department, and family members say that she hasn't been heard from since last Sunday. Since Stacey Ann Peterson is married to a Bolingbrook police sergeant, Drew Peterson, the Bolingbrook Police Department decided it would be best if the Illinois State Police handle the investigation. The disappearance of Stacey Peterson has stunned family members who have not heard from her since October 28th.
He was questioned in relation to the disappearance. He referred to Stacey in the past tense and refused to allow police to search his home. This got a fair bit of attention, which he lapped up.
Mr. Peterson, you like to say anything?
We'll never have over 2 books again. Please go home. Thanksgiving's the next couple of days. Please go home. Please leave me alone. Please don't get involved in my little world. I've talked to you before, so I got kids in the car, you morons. So
We're not shooting the kids.
I'll talk to you another time. Folks, this is the holiday season. I know at least 5 families that are losing their homes that are in this area. You probably should put maybe a little bit of effort into saving these people and their families, or reaching out to your fellow man. If someone needs a shoulder to cry on or they need a meal for their families, you guys should be maybe putting a little more effort into doing that rather than harassing my family. You folks have a good day. I'm still in love with Stacey, and I miss her. So,
Thank you. Thank you, Drew.
But the investigation was not over. That's when Thomas Morphe, it's spelled like this, Drew Peterson's stepbrother, he entered the picture. Bear with me, if you wouldn't mind, as we go through this. Now, Thomas was questioned by police while he was in hospital. He was in hospital because he tried killing himself. Now, why did he try to take his own life? On the 27th of October, the day before Stacey disappeared, Drew started to discuss his relationship with Stacey. He told Thomas that Stacey was cheating on him and he had to take care of this problem. He asked Thomas if he loves him enough to kill for him. Thomas said no. Drew then asked if Thomas could live with knowing about it. Thomas said he could, as he had a feeling that Drew killed Kathleen. Drew then drove them to a storage rental place and asked Thomas to rent a unit for him. In return, he would give him $2,000. However, Thomas couldn't rent a unit in the end. He needed ID. A few hours later, Thomas called Drew and said he couldn't be involved in this plan, whatever it was, wink wink. Drew said he could respect that. Then, the next day, on the 28th of October, Drew showed up at Thomas's home. They went for a drive and Drew handed Thomas a cell phone, instructing him not to answer it. 45 minutes later, the phone rang twice, the caller ID saying, Stacey. Then they drove to Drew's house, where Drew pushed a blue barrel out of his bedroom. Thomas then helped Drew to carry the barrel down the stairs, out of the house and into the car. And Drew then gave Thomas some money. Drew then drove him home and told him this never happened. Thomas then tried to kill himself after realizing he helped Drew get rid of something. Thomas was offered an immunity deal.
Drew Peterson denies reports that a relative helped him move a container that held his missing wife's body.
Julian Cruz is in Bolingbrook with the latest details. Julian?
Robin, startling new revelations about this mysterious container, a container that has clearly become the focus of this sensational missing persons case. All this as suspect Drew Peterson continues his sometimes bizarre, long-running dialogue with the media.
What's going on today?
What's going on today?
Yes.
We went to McDonald's. We had Happy Meals and McRib sandwiches. How's that? And that's what's going on today. What I want to talk about is I'm going to come camp myself in front of your house and see if you like it.
If he feels pressure from all the scrutiny, it's hard to tell. At times joking, smiling, even laughing with reporters. you almost get the feeling that Drew Peterson is somehow enjoying the attention. Officially, however, he is considered a suspect in the sudden disappearance of his fourth wife, Stacy Peterson. The former Bolingbrook police sergeant came out of his house yesterday with a home video camera, walking around the small army of TV news trucks and personnel virtually camped out in front of his Bolingbrook home. This bizarre spectacle amid reports that one of his relatives tried to commit suicide just days after allegedly helping Drew remove a large blue container from Drew's bedroom the day after Stacy Peterson disappeared. The Chicago Tribune reports that their relatives said the mysterious container was warm to the touch. But late last night, our own Julie Unruh confronted Peterson about the container and the allegation that the container may have had the body of Stacy Peterson.
A relative of yours saying he helped carry a rectangular container out of your home on October 28th.
I have no idea what anybody's talking about like that.
Warm to the touch.
No.
He says he believes that he helped you dispose of your wife's body.
No.
Can you at least respond to that?
No.
Not at all.
No response. Talk to my lawyer. I got nothing to say
No
about
truth to it whatsoever.
None. Nobody helped me with anything in such a manner.
On October 28th, where were you on October 28th? This gentleman says he helped you carry a container out of your home.
You're going to have to talk to my attorney. Okay? Have a good day.
Peterson's denial.
And yeah, he do remind me of that lady for real, y'all, from Mr. Ballin'. Like, he enjoying all this attention that he getting. He really is enjoying it. Like, he go to sleep ready to wake up the next morning, looking out the window, trying to see how many news people out there that he can go get off whatever he want to get off with. You know what I'm saying? It makes him freaking horny, so to speak, to go out there and get that attention from them people. This man, and another thing I was just thinking about too is just the fact that you killed your kids' baby mothers twice. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not your kids. How did I say that? You killed your kids' mothers, not baby mothers. You killed your kids' mothers twice, man. You know what I'm saying, man? Like, do you care about that part of it at all? Oh my God, man. At this point, I'm just hoping life in prison, being team. I'm hoping life in prison.
Comes as law enforcement intensifies the search for the missing container. Volunteers searching for Stacy Peterson say they've been told by state police to look for this possibly blue container.
See, the way the winds were blowing, Drew decided it would be best to lawyer up. He got himself a defense attorney named Joel Brodsky. As it turned out, his lawyer was more of his publicist than anything else. The two actually made a contract in which Joel was to get money out of each and all of his and or Drew's interviews and other media coverage. Might as well make a bit of kibosh to, out of the newspapers and media, wanting to know if you, killed your wife.
I want you to be 100% honest with me,
Mm-hmm. Okay, no, I'm going to lie to you.
I want you to be 100% honest,
Okay.
Seriously. Did you kill your wife, Stacy?
No.
No question at all in your mind?
No question at all in my mind.
What about your wife, Kathy?
No.
Did you have anything to do with the death of Kathy?
Nothing.
Why are you talking? Because I know there are a lot of people who are going to be watching this saying, what was he thinking? Like, why do you think it's important to talk?
I'm really being portrayed as a monster here, and nobody's defending me. Nobody's stepping up and saying, no, he's a decent guy, he helps people, he does this, he does that. So somebody's got to say something.
Someone said either you're guilty of both of these, or you have the worst luck in the world. You just happen to marry two women. One is missing and one who's dead.
Correct.
Which is it? You just have bad luck?
I guess this is bad luck.
A week and a half after Stacy's disappearance, police ruled that they believed Stacy was the victim of foul play. And so, gradually more and more information started to come out. Neighbors told the police they had seen two men carrying a blue barrel out of the house. Drew's exes came forward, telling the police what kind of man he is. With all of the information police gathered, they decided there was another case they had to look into. As there was no hard evidence regarding what happened to Stacy, they hoped to find results regarding the death of Kathleen Savio. So, while searches were made to find Stacy, Kathleen's body was exhumed and re-examined. 2 different pathologists were involved, and they disagreed with the original coroner's findings. Because of the bruises and abrasions to her body and the way in which her body was positioned in the tub, they determined the manner of her death was homicide.
And last week, his third wife's death was ruled not an accident, but a homicide. Drew Peterson is with us this morning, along with his attorney, Joel Brodsky. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
So since you were here 3 months ago, when Stacy was missing for 1 month, now she hasn't been seen of or heard from in 4 months. And this big development, Drew, was this issue last week where a coroner's report after an autopsy now rules that your third wife, Kathleen Savio, died not of an accident, but of homicide. Considering that you were already under the magnifying glass, how did you greet that news?
It was kind of shocking. We believed for the last 4 years that her death was accidental, and then all of a sudden, that was with the fresh autopsy. Now all of a sudden, there's new autopsy with an old body, let's say, and it's been ruled a homicide. I'm kind of suspicious of it.
You don't think that the coroner's report is accurate?
I'm not sure. I think it needs to be scrutinized and looked at a little closer.
This dude is such a cool liar, too. Like, he is a cool, calm, and collected spewing this BS out of his mouth. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It almost sounds like he have freaking rehearsed these lies over and over and over again in front of the mirror because of how natural it's coming out. Or maybe he didn't rehearse it. Maybe it just shows how much of a natural, evil person he is. But he one of those liars that just, the way he lies, it just shows you he don't give a F about nothing he have done.
And this happened.
You know what you should do? You should have a win a date with Drew contest.
I'll do a dating game with you.
Drew? It's up to you, man.
I don't know. Ask the lawyer.
Yeah, why not?
Could being the right caller get you a date with Drew Peterson? Police say the former suburban Chicago police officer is a suspect in the disappearance of his wife, Stacy. But that didn't stop his attorney from suggesting the promotion to radio station WJMK-FM. And host Steve Dahl reportedly thought it was a great idea. But the station's vice president says no way. He says win a date with Drew will not happen on the station. Peterson's attorney, Joel Brodsky, says his client didn't do anything wrong and is entitled to have some fun. Stacy Peterson has been missing since October, and Drew insists she ran off with another man and is still alive. The search for the missing mother of 2 has drawn national attention.
Shockingly and, frankly, disappointingly, never came to pass. And on April 1st, 2009, Drew decided to call a local radio station.
Where's Drew?
We got him, Drew
Peterson.
He finally picked up.
I'm here.
All right, buddy. Well, you called us. What's going on?
I've just been on the phone with my attorney, Joel Brodsky, for the last half hour, and he's telling me just to keep my mouth shut and sit tight, but I got to come clean with this. I wanted to do it with you. Is that okay with you?
Well, I don't know what you're going to say.
Oh. This is hard, Mancow. This is hard.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do here?
Well, I just got to tell you, it's been weighing heavy on my chest for some time now, and I just got to say that the chicken wings at Addiction Bar and Grill are the best I've ever had. 1023 West Lake. Happy April Fool's Day, Mancow.
This motherfucker really thought that was funny. Doing a joke like that. Are you kidding me? See, earlier I said at least I'm hoping for life in prison. But see, jokes like that, y'all already know I feel this way. But jokes like that make me really want this. Give his ass the death penalty, man. I said it just a couple of minutes earlier. Like, this dude don't give a F. Doing stuff like that, he know everybody thinking he gonna say and confess to these freaking murders. But no, he rather make a hot wing joke on April Fool's Day and have everybody fooled when you done freaking killed people. This is real. But for him, it's a joke.
What a great, April Fool's Day plan Drew and Joel had. By the way, that chicken wing place, that Drew mentioned in his confession, that restaurant was owned by Joel Brodsky. Yeah, so they were really just milking this for all it's worth. It's fantastic. Love to see it.
You seem so upbeat. How do you manage to stay so upbeat, given the fact that your wife's been missing for 3 months?
Oh, it's just, you know, you do what you can. You know, I'm not going to go hide in the corner and cry about it. You know, it's just like I personally grieve over it. But I do that all on my own.
The neighbors said that they saw you carrying out a big blue barrel that would be big enough.
Again, Shepard, that's not what we agreed to talk about. You know,
I didn't agree to any restrictions on conversation. I would never do that. I just wonder what.
Okay, well then I guess I got to walk away. Have a good day, Mr. Shepard. It was nice talking to you.
Well, he'll talk about the dating game, but he won't talk about the fact that the neighbors say they saw him with a large 55-gallon blue barrel, carrying it out with someone else, and shortly after his wife went missing.
Have a good day, guys. Yeah.
His fourth wife went missing. His third wife died in a dry bathtub.
Finally, on May 7th, 2009, Drew Peterson was indicted and arrested for the murder of Kathleen Savio.
Finally.
Let's go. Move back. All right. Turn around. Move back for your own safety. Move back. Get on the sidewalk.
So as we already know, this case is cuckoo pants. So why would the trial be any different? Well, it turns out that in the weeks before her disappearance, Stacy told at least 3 people that she believed her husband Drew was responsible for what happened to his third wife. That he killed her, murdered her. Drew asked the judge to exclude testimony from Stacy's pastor and the divorce lawyer. Stacy had told them both Drew killed Kathleen. Drew asked the judge to exclude them since neither was available to testify to those facts themselves. The judge ruled against Drew, and so a law got dubbed Drew's Law, which allows a judge to admit hearsay statements if a prosecutor can prove a defendant may have killed a witness to prevent them from testifying. On September 6th, 2012, Drew was found guilty of premeditated murder. On February 21st, 2013, Drew Peterson was sentenced to 38 years in prison. He was incarcerated at Menard Correctional Center in Chester, Illinois. Later, he was moved to the Federal Correctional Institution, Terre Haute. Within a month, he was attacked by another prisoner, who hoped to sell his belongings on eBay to some true crime aficionados. But the story doesn't end there. See, there's another twist. And that would be Drew Peterson's solicitation for murder. Yeah. One inmate said he was playing basketball in the prison yard in October 2013 when Drew approached him asking for a favor. The inmate said Drew asked him to get someone to kill James Glasgow. James Glasgow was the state's attorney who put him away.
Hold on. Tell me what you said. Just the green light. Basically, go ahead and kill him. All right. And that's what you wanted, right? Good. It ain't no turning back. Okay. Right.
From the first time we talked about it.
Huh?
The first time we talked about it, there was no turning back. If I get some booze in here, we'll celebrate that night. But the first thing they will identify him as the guy that got me. That's what he's known for. That's what that's the guy that prosecute Drew Peterson.
Drew told this inmate his appeal would be nearly guaranteed to succeed if James was out of the picture, and the prosecutor's assistants wouldn't have the guts to charge him with Stacy's disappearance.
If Glasgow is dead by Christmas, when would that put you out? Approximately, like, what do you think? Are you worried about his ADAs or anything?
He'll never let me alone. If I get out, he's going to charge me with Stacy.
If you get out, he's going to charge you with what?
Stacy.
Right.
You know, even though they don't have grounds for that, but they didn't have grounds for this other thing.
Okay, so they got you on Kathleen.
Yeah.
I thought they got you on Stacy.
No. Stacy's still alive, running around out there.
Drew got another 40 years for that, where he remains to this day. Where Stacy is, we don't know. Drew has never been charged in connection with her disappearance. Stacy's sister is still trying to find her. She says Drew disposed of her sister's body in a canal. She actually has sonar pictures of what she believes are Stacy's remains, and has a GoFundMe set up to bring her home. Though the police aren't really helping her for some reason. Maybe they don't think it's credible, but who knows? And so ends the story of Drew Peterson, to date.
Man.
I mean, because this story is so batshit, wouldn't surprise me if more craziness were to emerge. I mean, it's a lot to wrap your head around. He was a busy guy. It's very much a story about the abuse of power. Drew thought he could do whatever he wanted, while now in prison. Can't do so much anymore. Surrounded by killers, couldn't even organize a murder. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Like, a lot. Thank you. And I will see you as always real soon in the next video. Till then, take care of yourselves. Mike out.
That was a great one from Mike, y'all. Shout out to HBLPW once again, my friends. That was really a great one. Just seeing the craziness of Drew. I can go on and on, Bean Team. I can go on and on, but I'm not going to really rehash what we already know or what I already talked about. I'll just talk about the end. Y'all seen my face when Mike said, I think he got 38 years. I'm like, why we got doing random ass years, random numbers, 38? Like, what? How do y'all even add that up? So he got 38, which should have, in my opinion, been life. Even though 38 years at the age he was, more than likely he not getting out and he gonna die in prison. But so why not just call it life? But then we kind of like doubled down on it when his dumb ass, because it just shows you once a freaking crazy mother, always a crazy, what, because he in prison trying to get people killed. That's one thing, y'all. That's one thing I will say about prison. Sometimes prison can change evil people back to good, but sometimes the evil just can never leave them, and it was gonna never leave that dude. It was gonna never leave him. He all in prison trying to get people knocked off. And it shows you more of how guilty he really is as far as Kathleen's murder and even Stacy. We all know he killed Stacy too. We'll probably never know where her body at, because he even though he was telling the truth about trying to get somebody killed, setting it up with the informant who was in prison, at the same time he still lied to the informant. Talking, oh yeah, Stacy, she's still running around here. She out there. You know what I'm saying? He's still holding on to that I didn't kill Stacy lie. He'll probably take that one to his grave, unfortunately. Unfortunate freaking Bean Team. And I digress. I'm gonna go and let y'all go. I appreciate y'all coming on back as always. And before you leave, just please hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and do all that if you ain't did that yet. And remember this: love, peace, and happiness. Stay safe. Don't stop. Keep going. Yeah.
If you're feeling lonely today, come along and throw your cares away. We're really glad that you're our friend, and this is a friendship that'll